In 2025, I worked with 40 different hormone and cash pay clinics doing a combined $87 million in revenue. All of the clinics were in the United States. All of them are offering roughly the same medications, but they got wildly different results with their businesses. One clinic added 33 members in 30 days without spending any money on ads. Another spent $11,000 on Google ads and got nothing. In the next 15 to 20 minutes, I'm going to give you the best tricks I've learned over the last decade and the most current strategies that I'm using. I'm going to give you the pricing structure that enrolls the fastest with the best margins. I'm going to give you the lead generation strategies to profitably acquire patients. I'm going to give you the exact script for your front desk to convert almost everyone. I'm going to give you the best patient journey to retain patients the longest, and I'll give you what I've learned about who to hire, what to pay them, and when to hire them. This is the exact playbook we used for a hormone clinic in Santa Barbara to go from $1 million a year to $4 million a year in 2 years. You can check out the full case study on our website. At the end of this, I'll offer you a free practice audit completed by me, and if you want to book a call, that's great. If not, also great. Let's get to work. Number one, pricing structure. Before you run a single ad, your pricing decides whether marketing can even work. You have to be able to collect enough cash on the front end to keep the machine going and have enough expected lifetime value that you can justify spending more money. Here's what's working best across the country right now. I've implemented this exact pricing structure in California, Arizona, Texas, North Dakota, Florida, Minnesota, North Carolina, and Michigan, so I don't want to hear a word about that won't work in my market. Here's exactly how it's presented. $350 for initial labs paid to the clinic, $350 for the initial consultation, and then $350 a month for the membership. In higher end markets, we're presenting it the same way, the congruent pricing, $350, $350, $350, but we're doing it at $400, $400, $400, or $450, $450, $450. The only thing you are getting the commitment for over the phone is the lab work and the consult. Oftentimes I see people try and sell the memberships at this step. Don't. It's too much too soon. You wouldn't offer someone a dessert menu while they're still eating their salad. After the initial consult, the consult fee credits towards month one, only if they commit same day. So month one feels like $50, not $350. It's very important you don't position this as free consult because that makes the doctor's time seem not as valuable. You want to position it as the consult fee is credited towards your first month's investment or membership. The math works out the exact same way as offering a free consult, but it's a totally different offer. And girl math applies, where they feel like they've been gifted $350 rather than gifted a medical professional's time for free. Totally different positioning for the person you're trying to position as an expert. When presented this way, they receive an incentive to get started. When presented as a free consult, they receive a doctor's time for free. It's totally different. Next, stop pitching the full MSRP price. I see a lot of clinics who have not switched over to a monthly membership model yet, and they're pitching their functional hormone programs like this. It's $5,000 for the 6-month program plus the $300 consult. Nobody wants to buy that. Here's exactly how to say it. This is our winning phone script. You want to get started? Great. So we get every patient started with $350 for your initial labs and $350 for the initial consult. After that, your monthly membership will be in the range of $350 to $500 a month, depending on which program makes the most sense for you. Your provider is going to help you choose that at the consultation. At the end of the consultation, you have the choice to just pay $350 for the consultation or pay that same $350 and use it as a credit towards your first month's membership, allowing you to get started with your first month without any additional investment. I implemented that exact structure with a functional medicine clinic in Sarasota that was already doing $1 million a year. We changed nothing but the phone pitch. Bookings went from 16 in September to 25 in October. Same lead volume, almost doubled the booking rate with this one shift in presentation of pricing. The best example of this working in the real world is an example everyone's familiar with. You've all seen truck commercials, especially during the Super Bowl. If GMC ran a Super Bowl ad that said, "New Sierra, $79,000, nobody would show up. They say as low as $499 a month. They pitch the monthly payment, not the sticker price. That's literally why they call it sticker shock. Here's what to include in your membership. All medications, order them for the patient, have the pharmacy ship to them and bill you. It's way cleaner and there's perceived value with it. Follow-up labs quarterly. Nobody will use it that often. It's perceived value. Most people do it 2 times a year. All follow-up consults, quarterly ideally. And then offer a 10 to 15% off discount on all other services at the clinic. Weight loss, peptides, regen, supplements, testing. And then DPC, direct primary care, or concierge-like services available through the practice. Need a Z-Pack? Let us know. They're going to somebody else for it. You might as well deliver the value too. It takes you very little time. This all-inclusive pricing gives you multiple ways to deliver value monthly that far exceed the amount that they're paying. Churn's going to disappear and enrollment's going to go through the roof. It's a no-brainer offer. That's why it's built this way, and that's why it works really well. A lot of clinics I see are priced too low with their memberships. If you price low, you'll fill your calendar with bargain shoppers and churn. And if you price higher end on value, you'll fill your calendars with patients who can afford to pay for a long period of time, which allows you to hire the help you're about to need in a few months when you implement this offer. Moving on, which everybody wants really the most probably out of this video, is how to get leads. So the frame to go into this chapter with is stop asking, how do I get more leads? And start with the math and work backwards. Because when you understand the math, it's very easy to spend money. If you don't understand the math, it's like very uncomfortable, and we'll get to that. So you've got to get comfortable with the math. $350 a month gross revenue per patient minus $100 in meds cost monthly on the high end. It's like $85 to $100 usually in meds. And then you've got $500 or $600 annually for labs divided by 12 months is $50 per month on labs. And you've got maybe $400 in annual provider time, 4 consults a year at $100 an hour, 12 months, $33 a month. So you've got $183 in cost monthly, and you've got $167 in gross profit per month per patient. The money makes sense here, and most patients won't do quarterly labs or take advantage of quarterly consults. They just won't. It's just perceived value. If in your market you can charge $400 to $450 a month, do it. $350 works in most markets. If you can charge more, get the money. I support you. So on the low end, if you're doing $350, you've got $167 in profit in month 1. If you can acquire a new patient with paid ads or any marketing strategy for $150, you're crushing it. You pretty much break even month 1, which like large companies would die to be able to do. If you can get them for under $300, you're doing okay. You just need more cash or more credit to get the machine going. A new paying patient is probably going to cost you $150 to $300 to acquire. If you can get them for under $300, you can scale. $350 collected on labs, you're making some money there. $350 collected for the consult, you're definitely in the green. And in month 2, you're profiting close to $200 per month per patient, and they will likely buy some supplements or peptides from the clinic as well. A patient's going to stay for 36 months if you take care of them, and they'll refer everyone they know if you really take care of them. So it isn't unrealistic to say one new hormone member is worth $5,000 over a year. If you follow the math on the screen, at $350 a month times 12 months, it's $4,200 a year in top line revenue, gross revenue. And they're likely going to refer. But you have to be comfortable with spending the money. You have to be confident in your sales process, and you have to know your numbers. Otherwise, you get very uncomfortable very fast. I always do math based off of cost to acquire a customer and work backwards from there when I'm spending money to acquire. So if I want to get customers for $300 and I know I can book 2 out of 10 conservatively, I know I need to get leads for roughly $60. Here's how that works out. To get 2 customers for $300 a customer, I would spend $600. $600 divided by 2 is $300 per customer. To get 10 leads for $600, because I know I'm booking 2 out of 10, I would spend $60 per lead. 10 leads divided by, or times 60 is $600. $600 divided by 10 leads is $60. Now I know exactly how much I can afford to spend per lead. I've got to get leads for $60 per lead. If I end up spending any less than that, great, as long as the lead quality is there. So how do you actually get quality leads? I run 2 main efforts for new hormone patients right now. First one's SEO. I focus on location-specific pages, blogging, review collection, on-page schema, FAQs in the content, and Google My Business optimization. Next, for a little bit more performance marketing, Google paid ads to a symptom quiz funnel to a booking page where they book with an appointment setter, somebody who's doing the discovery call for them. The offers I use: free testosterone testing. There's a reason that Game Day, Ageless Men's, and every other franchise in men's health uses this offer. Guys don't want to get their labs done. This removes all friction and it makes it very easy for them to say yes. Once the lab work shows whether they need treatment or not, the decision's really easy. If you can't sell a patient when you've got their labs done, you're in the wrong business. I've been having a lot of success lately with a quiz funnel to a discovery call calendar, the 60-second symptom quiz. This works for men's and women's, but better for women. Women are curious researchers. They want to know what the heck is going on with them. When launching these ads on Google, I like to start at $75 per day and get cost per lead stable around $60 or less, and then scale spend as I am adding in negative words and optimizing the campaigns. Now, the follow-up is where the actual money is. It doesn't matter how good of a marketer you hire or how good your ads are if you don't call the leads. Here's what to do, and you can absolutely have AI help you with this if you don't have the staff in the beginning. But the prospects will need to talk to a human at some point. Here's the cadence. Auto text instantly, call manually ASAP, call and text them again at 24 hours, call and text them again at 48 hours, call and text them again at 72 hours. And then if they don't answer at all in any of that, send them a text. Where should we go from here? Do you want me to follow up again? You need to be able to resolve these leads. You can't leave a bunch of open leads in your pipeline. You got to be able to resolve them, which is like somebody who's either purchased or we've deemed completely unresponsive after a reasonable amount of attempts, or they don't believe in this type of medicine and we're not aligned on belief systems. Now, one thing to make you stand out and be more efficient, the moment a lead texts back, call them while the phone is still in their hand. Skip the text game when you can. Get in control of the conversation on the phone. Another thing, when people book discovery calls in your funnel, call them as soon as they initially book and confirm their call. See if they want to talk sooner. Remember, if you just buy more leads with paid ads before you fix your sales process, you will only burn cash and expose the real weaknesses in the sales process. Fix the sales process first. Now, how do you actually sell these leads? We have to have the right mindset first. Here's the frame of mind to be in. Your job is not to sell or convince anyone that they need to have an appointment. Your job is to figure out what their problem is and see if you can recommend a solution. Be curious like a little kid who keeps asking, why mom, why mom, why mom? The solution to their problem is going to be outside of their comfort zone. You've got to have some empathy to understand that there is discomfort between them and where they're at now and where they want to be. They're going to fight to stay in their comfort zone. And you may need to refer the prospect somewhere else. You cannot help everyone. Your job is to merely identify their problem and see if you can solve it. Here is the way that I think about the consult script. Number one, identify and hear the problem. Reflect it back in the patient's own words, the fatigue, the brain fog, feeling like themselves again. Salt the wound a little bit if they're being vague and not opening up. Next, validate them. We've helped patients exactly like you who are dealing with that. It's a common thing that we hear. Present the solution, explain that you're in testing to get absolutely clear on what they're experiencing. And then here's a few questions you can ask to get clear. Is the problem affecting your ability to work, to sleep, take care of your kids, be present for your partner? How'd you hear about us? Why do you think we're a good fit? Get clarity a little bit. And then when presenting the next steps that make sense, 350, 350, 350, they don't need to know anything past that right now. When you deliver the pricing, don't squirm. Be confident in the offer. It's $350 for labs, $350 for the consult, $350 per month. All labs, consults, meds are included, discounts on other services. The $350 consult is credited towards the first month if you get started after the consult. Tell them the offer, let them digest it a bit, and ask for the next step. Don't squirm. Don't just say it and then disappear. Tell them about the next step. It's this. Would you like me to help you schedule your labs? Great. I just need to collect some basic information from you, collect the payment for labs over the phone, and schedule the consult a few weeks out so there's urgency on them actually completing the labs on time. Here's why this offer works so well. The offer is easy to understand. The offer is easy to explain. The math makes sense. The money's digestible. It's $350 a month, rather than, if you actually do the math, it's $1,300 for your first 30 days. Nobody wants to do that. So because it's easy to understand and explain, it scales and it's easy to train your team to explain. It's not about the offer that you can sell, it's about the offer that anyone can sell. Now, the two questions that your staff must be able to answer, these two questions kill most cash pay inbound calls in the first 60 seconds. The questions are, what's the price? And is this covered by insurance? Both of these are reflexive disqualification attempts, not real objections. The clinics that book the most consults have verbatim rebuttals memorized for both. So here's what I use. For what's the price, the only next step they need to understand is the labs and the consult. Anything past that is inappropriate. They don't need to know how much the cheesecake is before they've eaten their salad. Initial labs are $350, initial consult is $350. After that, you can credit the investment into the initial consultation towards any program you get started on. For is this covered by insurance? This is a good one. I had to learn this from a clinic in person. Gosh, it's not that we don't want it to be covered by insurance. It's just that for most people, Insurance doesn't deem it medically necessary. We'll work with you to provide a letter of medical necessity and a super bill, and some patients have had success with that. But we really wish it was. However, it's not at this time. Make sure your team can answer those 2 questions verbatim as the above. If they can, they'll start closing more right away. Next, the patient journey. How to retain patients for a very long time. Now, before any tactical scheduled recommendation, your membership structure has to pass the Amex test. A lot of memberships churn patients and don't get new enrollments at a healthy rate because their offer doesn't make sense. Memberships are for services that you need on a monthly basis, usage monthly. The services need to be provided in alignment with the billing structure. Otherwise, the transaction doesn't make sense to the customer when they get a notification on their Amex that they got charged. That's why we include things in the membership to ensure they understand what they're paying for and can make the connection in their minds when they get the notification. Consults, labs, meds are a big one, discounts on other services, and massive bonus stickiness if you include concierge care and direct primary care. When does churn happen and why? Churn happens for a couple reasons. 1, they're not getting results, aka the value is no longer there. 2, they got results and they no longer need the service, aka more value isn't available to them. Or they felt like just a number, aka the value isn't there. So basically patients churn because the value isn't there. Churn happens most frequently at month 3, 6, and 9. Generally because one of the following things has happened. They weren't monitored correctly, nobody checked in on them, they weren't getting results, they didn't feel loved, or they got results and we didn't graduate them or educate them on other services properly. So how do you structure your communication cadence to make sure this doesn't happen? And how to make the opposite happen, aka get them to spend even more money. Here's the outline we build most journeys off of. This is our 13-month hormone journey map, and I've got a page specifically for this. If you want the page, comment below the video, I'd be happy to share it with you. You'll see there are scheduled touch points and automated nurture communication going out every month. If you can keep the patient for a year, you're going to keep them for a while, and they will definitely refer over that year. A few things that'll make you stand out and make the experience memorable so you'll get more referrals. Number 1 is the warm handoff. After the consultation, the person who's going to be managing their communication needs to be introduced to close them. Transaction coordinator in orthodontics is the same as this. The new patient coordinator, the client concierge, the office manager, maybe even you as the founder. I don't care who it is. It shouldn't be the doctor. But the person who's going to schedule their next visit, order the refills, and call them when their credit card declines needs to be introduced. That person should be introduced in real time after the consult to close them, set them up with their next steps, onboard them, get them scheduled with whatever happens next, and then let the patient know that it is their person. I'm your guy. If they need anything, they can call or text them directly on the CRM phone number. Another thing I like to do is I really love to have the patient fill out mini forms before every one of their consults because it gets the patient to tell themselves the progress they've made when you get them to answer questions like, what was your main goal when you started your program with us? In what ways have you improved in that area? Are there any other areas you'd like to make improvement now? They naturally resell and upsell themselves. Blood work. If you're not doing follow-up blood work with your patients at least 1 time a year, ideally twice a year, they aren't reminded of their progress. The blood work shows them where they were and where they are now. And if you're not doing that, you're missing out on potential opportunities to take better care of them, upsell, resell them. I know that getting patients to do their labs is annoying. You can partner with a local mobile phlebotomist and send them to patients' work or office for a small fee and just charge the patient. It provides massive value and takes away the inconvenience for the patient, and most will gladly pay if you offer that service. Lastly, building your team, who to hire and when. Now, I'm not going to discount the difficulty of hiring good people. It is hard, for sure. But there is one thing I have found consistently works in every market I've tried it in. Just pay them more money. Offer performance-based bonuses to your team. A few ideas I like that have worked well. For an appointment setter, bonus for every new patient appointment attended, paid out monthly. More than $10 per and less than $50 per appointment attended. If you really want to get them going on days where the calendar is light, tell them like cash spiffs. I'll give you $50 cash today if you can book 3 new patients today. Or I'll give you a $50 Visa gift card if you can book 3 new patients today. For a team bonus, I like net new members acquired monthly. I like $50 per net new member acquired monthly. So if you start the month with 100 members and you lose 5 and you add 10, you have a net gain of 5 new members. So you would pay out $50 times 5, so $250 to the whole team divided by however many are on the team. Maybe by 3 or something. It's still a nice little bonus. For an account manager or client service manager, I like to use that same net new members acquired monthly, same as above, but one person is responsible for it. And when you have one person responsible for that, they typically are very valuable to the practice, and I'd love to pay them as much as I ethically can. Here's the hiring order. Generally, this works pretty well. You may have some variance depending on if you're medical director or if you are owner, founder, and provider. So first, always new patient coordinator or appointment setter. Next, client service coordinator. You want somebody to get new patients in, and you want somebody to retain your patients. That first hire is going to do both jobs at first, and then you'll split that job up and have new and existing separated. Next, from there, office manager. You don't really need one of those until you've got at least a couple people to manage. Generally, one of the 2 previous hires can get promoted to this, and then you can hire a new patient coordinator or a client service coordinator to replace the old one. You want someone managing the office who knows where the bodies are buried, so they don't have to call you to figure everything out. I like an office manager that doesn't have to call the owner. That setup with those 3, new patient coordinator, client service coordinator, and office manager, can easily get you to 250 high-touch members. Past that, you're going to need additional nurse practitioner or PA to be able to handle your membership load. And then you're probably going to need billing and administration to handle like declines or keeping billing up to date or sending refills out, whatever. And then an RN is really good to manage all the refill orders at that scale. And then an NP, ideally, if you can hire another one. Depends on what your margins look like and like what else you're selling. And then a second new patient coordinator, kind of in that order, is like what you'll need as you continue to scale. Moving on, here's what to pay the new patient coordinator. I like to pay the front desk $25 an hour plus a new patient appointment attended bonus, generally around $20 per appointment attended. I want them focused on scheduling. I want them getting new people in the door. If I can just have that one person focused on getting people in the door, great. The NPPA, you're probably going to have to pay them $100 an hour, up to $150 an hour in some markets, like Southern California, $130 an hour. Like if you want a good one, that's what you got to pay them. And then the client service coordinator, in most markets, 60 to 75 grand a year plus bonuses is going to get you a pretty good one. Bonuses are net new members attended, like we mentioned previously. So to summarize, last year between 40 different practices that did 87 million in revenue, we tested a lot. This is the best framework that I can give you. Fix your pricing first, then your sales process, then get some leads, then make sure you're retaining everyone, getting referrals, then hire at scale. If you want help implementing any of this, feel free to schedule a discovery call on our website. I'll do a full audit of your business. I'll drop the link in the description below. And if this video is useful, feel free to share it with a friend or colleague. Thanks for watching.